And here we go. It is Titans week. We are currently 8-3 and comfortably in first place in the wild card. I have my dad with me here as always, and we have a special guest. So, Dad, if you want to go ahead and introduce Mike.
Yes, my good friend and golfing buddy is here with us today. Special guest, Mike Muhlenfeld. He lives here in Parkland with me, and he is a huge Titans fan, and he's also a huge Yankees fan, which I am. And he writes a blog called NY Sports South. And so if you are interested in Yankee trivia and Yankee what's going on with them, look him up and take out a subscription and go from there. So with that, Mike, I'll turn it over to you. Introduce yourself a little bit and tell us why you are a huge Titans fan.
Hey, Dan, Mike, thanks for having me on today. Yeah, it's a little odd story of how I became a Titan fan. I actually grew up in upstate New York back in the late 70s. Wow. And if you remember, during that period of time, there was the Steel Curtain, and Pittsburgh, everybody in my area was a huge Steeler fan. And that was the times when there was Bum Phillips and there was Earl Campbell. And so I got caught up in the Love You Blue, and that became my team. And it's been a lot of years of, similar to the Browns, a lot of years of dying hard at the Steel Curtain, never being able to knock down that door like I always hoped they would. And every time the Oilers would make it to the playoffs and they play the Steelers, Earl would just get shut down by the Steel Curtain. It just was a tough pill to swallow. And so I remember the Dan Pastorini days and, onto Ken Stabler, right. and then even going into the Archie Manning days where they would win 2 games a year and not do very well. And
Warren Moon was big with them.
Warren Moon came on, and again, one of my biggest heartaches of my life is we were winning 35-3 against Frank Reich.
Yeah,
it actually knocked out Jim Kelly in the playoffs.
Right.
The next week we'd have been playing the Pittsburgh Steelers, and we're winning 35-3 in the third quarter. My father-in-law goes to me, "Who do you play next week?" And I said, "We didn't win this game yet. Let's wait till we get there, but it would be the Steelers." And as legend goes on, that the Oilers ended up losing that game in overtime, 41-38, and just further heartache. And then it got to the where they actually made it to the Super Bowl, and they came up the yard short. Kevin Dyson catching the pass and tackled at the 1 yard line to end the game and lose to the Rams. So that's the only time I've seen them actually in the Super Bowl. But I did follow them when they moved to Tennessee from Houston, and always been a fan.
Yeah, Dad, do you remember where we were during that Bills Oilers game?
No, I cannot.
You probably don't. I don't remember exactly where we were, but I do remember you and I were in the car somewhere in central Pennsylvania out running errands, and we were listening to the game. We're like, "Oh man, this game's over." Listening to it on the radio. We go into like a Best Buy or a hardware store or something like that. We come out and they scored a couple more times. We're like, all right, look, it's actually becoming somewhat of a game, but still probably out of reach. We go to another store, do some shopping, come back, and they had it, and it was like tied or very close to tied. So we're sitting there in unbelievable shock. We're like, we should have watched this game.
Yeah.
Well, the problem was with the run and shoot offense was not designed to take time off the clock. So even when they were winning 35-3, they continued to throw the ball, throwing complete passes, 3 and outs, take no time off the clock, and punt the ball away.
Yeah.
I remember what was Clay Matthews' brother was on your team, right?
Bruce Matthews. Yeah, he was an all-pro lineman. Yep, absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah, I remember one game. It was in Cleveland. I think it was in the Bernie era or the Don Strock fill-in era, whatever. And the Browns were winning. It was snowing. It was cold. It was a hard field. I think it was like 2 minutes to go in the game. And the Oilers got the ball. And all they needed to do was go down and score, and they win the game. Well, they threw a screen pass. I can still see it to this day. They threw a screen pass to somebody. Maybe, I don't know if it was Earl Campbell, whatever their good running back was at the time. And he ran like 80 yards for a touchdown. It killed us. I was so disappointed. That's the only real, other than Warren Moon. I remember him. He would eat us up too. He
Yeah,
did
no,
very well
he was
against us.
tremendous. He was tremendous.
Yeah, Warren Mooney. He was I think he was a Canadian Football League guy for a while, and then
He was, yeah, because he didn't get a shot in the NFL, so he had to prove himself. I think he was with Toronto. Was he Toronto? But he set all kinds of records in Canada, and then the Oilers gave him a shot, and he did a great job for him. I think he finished his career in Minnesota the last year or so.
Yeah, very underrated quarterback. Us as Browns fans, I mean, I grew up as an '80s Browns fan kid, so it
Yep.
was definitely Warren Moon. It was Warren Moon, Boomer Esiason, and then the Steelers, bless their hearts,
Yep.
Bubby Brister, and all those
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 are the
clowns
good
that we
days
had
of the
for a while.
Steelers.
Oh
That's
yeah.
right.
Well, hey,
So-
talking about the Browns Titans today. We have two teams that come in 8-3. The Titans happen to be leading the AFC South, and whereas the Browns are comfortably in first. Well, no, I wouldn't say comfortable. We're in first place in the wild card, right? So we're definitely on the inside of the playoff perspective currently. Mike, I want to get your thoughts. Have you watched any of the Browns play this year? And what are your thoughts as a Titans fan going into this in terms of any potential concerns related to the Browns?
From a Titan perspective,
Mhm.
yeah, a lot of concerns. The defense for the Titans is got issues. We have three different players that are out today. Adoree Jackson, who's our best cornerback, there was hope that he would be back for today. He's pretty much been on the IR all year. They activated him, but he's not ready to play, so he won't be playing today. Jadeveon Clowney is also on the IR. He's been a little bit of a disappointment. He has no sacks on the year, but he still fills the middle rather well, so he's out of the game. And then on the offensive side, we're missing Jonnu Smith, who is our best tight end. I thought there was some opportunity for the Titans to exploit that. Now they're going to be down to Anthony Fisker at the tight end position. Not quite the same kind of player, still a decent tight end, but Jonnu Smith is a borderline Pro Bowler in my opinion. He has 7 touchdowns on the year, expands the field to some perspective.
Mm-hmm.
The Brownies are going to have a great opportunity. The Titans on defense, they rank 17th against the run, 28th against the pass. My only hope as a Titan fan, Baker, last time he played them, I was telling Dan, I think he had 3 interceptions. Baker's been taking very good care of the ball, from what I understand, over the last 5 or 6 games, maybe 1 turnover during that period of time. If he can continue to do that, and if Chubb and Hunt have the type of games that they're capable of, it could be a long day for the Titans, just because they're going to have time of possession on their side in order to win this game. You're going to need a big game from Henry. The Titans on the outside are tremendous. They've got 2 very good receivers in A.J. Brown and Corey Davis, and they are getting Adam Humphries, who's their 3rd wide receiver, a possession kind of guy. He's returning today. So I do expect the Titans to score their fair share of points, although the Brownies are a very good defensive team. They're ranked 9th against the run, and they're 20th against the pass. So Ryan Tannehill is having a very good year, 23 touchdowns, just 4 interceptions, and 2,600 yards passing. But the problem with Ryan is he holds onto the ball a little bit too long. Living in Miami, I got to see his early days with the Dolphins. Gone to the Tennessee, he's done a nice job there. But if they're able to get pressure on him, he could get sacked quite a bit today because he tends to hold the ball just a little bit too long.
Mm-hmm.
The Titans are hoping to get Derrick Henry a little bit more involved in the screen game.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least they're talking about that. Mike Vrabel, I think, is a tremendous coach. Bringing him on from New England has been one of the smarter moves that the Titans have made in years. But that said, the 3-4 defense is just not living up to what my expectations were, particularly based upon last year and what they accomplished in their playoff run. They just don't have the horses. A guy that like Desmond King is now going to start at cornerback. Look for Rashard Higgins, I think, is your 2nd wide receiver opposite Landry.
Mm-hmm.
I think Higgins could have a very, very good game today.
Yeah, I think personally this game's just going to come down to who can run the ball and who can stop the run, because we've got, you guys have Derrick Henry, who's a very scary running back, and a very capable rounded off offense from the passing perspective, as you mentioned, with Tannehill having a very decent year. I actually picked him up on my fantasy squad early on because I was like, hey, I need somebody who's not throwing interceptions. So he's actually having a career year for the Titans.
Well, the two receivers they have, A.J. Brown and Corey Davis. Corey Davis was actually the higher pick. I think he was fourth or fifth pick overall, and he's been slow to develop. They almost non-tendered him in the offseason. They decided to bring him back, and he actually leads the team in 42 receptions. He's got 619 yards receiving, but just 3 touchdowns. But he's kind of that mid-range guy, and he also leads the team in yards after catch. A.J. Brown is their deep threat, and he's scary. Anytime A.J. Brown touches the ball, he can go the distance. He's a big guy. He reminds me a lot of the wide receiver with Seattle. Similar type of build. Sorry?
Metcalf,
Right. Similar size, similar speed, scary guy. So I think, Dan, you mentioned that Cleveland's missing their number 1 cornerback today.
Yeah. Denzel Ward is out. As you and I talked, Mike, earlier, Sendeo has played all year long as either free safety, strong safety, and he's had, the big games. He's not performed well. With the losses, the 3 losses that we've had, they've exploited him. That's my worry today, that Tannehill gets Sendeo in his sights and goes after him. And our corners are okay, but they're not great. The 2 top guys that we have, Greedy Williams and Ward, are out. And we got through a lot of the last season with these guys as corners, filling in for those 2 who were hurt. That's my greatest concern. Don't give up the deep ball. Don't give up the easy touchdown. Obviously, stay away from, the interceptions, the turnovers, the bad plays, the penalties. I mean, they throw a flag on every pass play. It seems this year that they just don't let the guys touch each other very much. A lot of offensive, pass interference calls. So I hope we get a clean game. I hope I know it'll be competitive. They're both physical teams that they like to hit each other. And with having Hunt and Chubb in the backfield, I'm looking forward to this game.
Yeah, the Titans are going to have to bring some heat from their linebackers. Their leading sack person on the year is Harold Lindsey, who is he's a linebacker. So if the Titans don't start blitzing a little bit and get inside Baker's line of vision, force him into some earlier throws than he wants to make, it could be a very long day for their defense.
If Baker stays in the pocket, like Tanner, he stays there too long, and he can't see. He's not that big, so he can't see over this lineman very effectively. And when they put their hands up, he's had a number of passes from the pocket knocked down.
Yeah.
So they need to move him out. If they don't move him left or right, we could be in for a long day.
Well, this is also like one of those games that I know a lot of Browns fans kind of circled on the schedule because of what the Titans did to us last year. When we came out and we were in all the hype mode, Odell Beckham, everybody's in there, new head coach. We finally got this thing turned around. Baker coming off a career, rookie record-setting year, and then the Tennessee Titans game, and we were just humiliated, honestly humiliated at home. It was one of the most heartbreaking losses I've had as a Browns fan in a long time, because I think a lot of and this just goes for everything in life, a lot of things come down to expectations, right?
That's true.
I was in the hospitality industry, worked for a timeshare company for a while, and I remember talking to the chief operation officer, and he's like, look, it all comes down to what the expectation of the guest is. If they expect 5-star and you give them 3-star, you get bad ratings. If they expect 3-star and you give them 3-star, they give you, a great rating. And that's what it is with this game. I think I am bringing down my expectations a little bit this game, only because, again, it comes down to what you expect. The last 3 games against the Texans, Eagles, and Jaguars were must-wins for us. They were soft, and the expectation was the Browns were going to win them. We were a better team on paper than those 3 teams. Now we play another competent team away. For the 3rd time this year, we've played a competent team away. So the Steelers and Ravens took care of us and really beat us badly, as bad as the Titans the first game last year. Now we go to Tennessee after we've had, over half the season to practice as a team and get ready. Now this is the next test for the Browns.
Yep.
Right.
And if we can get through a good playoff caliber team and not be humiliated, even if we lose, it's okay. We have 3 losses that we can give out of the last 5 games and still get to 10 wins, which I think is going to take at minimum 10 wins to make it into the wild card. I think we can get to 10 with the Jets and the Giants. And if we can sneak past the Ravens or the Titans or, who knows, heaven forbid the Steelers last game of the season.
The Steelers, that's right.
That would be fantastic. But this game is not a must win for us anymore. It's almost a must show up and must perform like a regular. If we lose and it's close, or we lose just by, maybe even if we win, who knows? But the test is, don't be destroyed by this team. And that, to me, I will take that as a moral victory, because again, it's in Tennessee. Tennessee's not an easy place to play, right? And
there's no home crowd though, Mike. I mean, so that does offset that to some extent. And,
Right.
If you're happy with taking a moderate loss, I'm happy just accepting a moderate win today, because the Titans only have a 1-game lead for the division. And right now the Colts are on the outside looking in. So they're right behind the Titans, and the Titans probably view this game more so as a must-win game because the Colts are hot on their heels. And like I said, they split the season series, and the interdivision record is very, very close.
Well, you guys did us a favor last week by taking care of the Colts, which bumped us up again. I was rooting for you guys because if the Colts end up winning, the AFC South, then that negates our victory over them in terms of the wild card standings. So now if we beat you guys today, then again it's null, and we've got the all kill on the AFC South, and then we go for the all kill against the NFC East, taking care of every team in that division. And I was talking to Ristano about this on the Wednesday show. It's just so fitting that we finally have a great chance to make the playoffs. That we're having a great year, and we just happen to be in the division with an undefeated team. You put us in any other division.
And it's during a pandemic when the Browns fans, who show up more than any other fan base, can't even attend the games, right? So
that's true.
Or are they letting some people in the stands or no in Cleveland?
They are a little bit. It's limited. I think it was like 10-15%. So they are, but who knows what's going to happen,
But
for the rest of the season.
was so horrible up until last week. 3 weeks in a row, rain, wind, sloppy field, and yet we got through those games very well. And I looked up the weather in Nashville, and it's ideal. 0 wind, sun, and 51 degrees. So nobody can blame it on the weather in Tennessee. It's going to be mano, and the better team wins.
Well, that's good. I mean, we also had ideal weather against the Jags and almost made a 1-9 team look like a Super Bowl team. Looking at Mike Glennon coming out there, no pressure on Mike Glennon. He didn't have any turnovers, and I think that's really the key. We were a little bit exposed, I think, last week in terms of what our defense is, because the offense scored points. I mean, we scored 27 points. 27 points in the NFL, you should win games. At least be in a position to win. But our defense giving up 25 points, and admittedly, they should have given up 27 because for whatever reason, their coach took points off. They kicked the extra point and made it. And then they took points off the board to go for 2 and missed it, which you should be fired for that alone, that decision. But if you look at the defense, we didn't put any pressure on Mike Glennon, statuesque Mike Glennon. We didn't put any pressure on him. Tannehill's, he's not known for his feet, but he can move. I mean, he's athletic.
No, they'll bootleg him out, and they like to bring him out in the flat and throw some screen passes. So he's going to move around in the pocket. The biggest issue with Tannehill is he is prone to fumbling the ball. So if you can get pressure on him and get a good hit on him, he will turn the ball over. So, like Dan said, it's going to come down to a clean game. Who plays the cleaner game? Who has less turnovers? Who's able to win the time of possession? A lot of the normal stuff, and which running back tandem has the better day.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
And
I agree.
I think I respect Derrick Henry out the wazoo. I mean, that guy is scary. He's a monster. He looks like a tight end.
He's a freak.
Yeah, and then on our side, you've got Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. So I think the advantage there honestly goes to us in terms of the running back, just because we've got two superstar running backs. But it doesn't necessarily matter. I mean, you guys have a good running back core as well. You've been successful in giving Derrick Henry a break when he needs it, and then I think you've got a little bit more of a consistent passing game than we have. No. Not to be like hypercritical of Baker, because I think Baker, if you look at it, what he's doing this year, honestly, he's winning games. That's all that ultimately matters. Statistically, it's kind of odd, but if you have to go look at, as Browns fans, we all have to take a chill pill for a second and just realize Kevin Stefanski's doing with the Browns what he did in Minnesota. Where he didn't unleash Kirk Cousins and let Kirk Cousins be Kirk Cousins. He said, no, we're going to run the heck out of the ball, and we're going to give you high percentage passing. We're going to pass when we need to. I think the one thing about the Browns that I like to see this week is if Myles Garrett can get to the quarterback and put pressure on Tannehill, like you just mentioned, if we can, Myles Garrett has been doing these strip sacks left and right. So if he can get to the quarterback, and then on the passing side of the ball, again, keep Baker under 35 passes and do play action. It is my dad and I think, and Ristano too, because I text him quite a bit during the games. It just drives me up the wall when we let's say we get the ball and then the first play is a pass incomplete, because we don't do any play action and we just drop him back incomplete. Now it's 2nd and 10 on the 25. Everybody knows we're running the ball to try to get a couple yards, stuffed. Then it's 3rd and 10, got to run in 3 and out, or got to pass for 3 and out. Because again, when you tell another team, you telegraph exactly
you
what
make
it's
one-dimensional.
Yeah. And then you can protect against it. You put in a dime package, or not even a nickel package, and you say, okay, go ahead and throw now. Right? So I want to see us using play action, motioning Baker out quite a bit. And the thing I liked last week is we actually got Nick Chubb involved in the passing game. We're dumping off screen passes, including, and my dad and I talked about this, and I said it last game. I was like, I don't know why we're not throwing the ball to Nick Chubb. It's not like he's got stone hands. He's proven he can catch the ball. But we ended up throwing him the screen pass that won us the game.
Do you put Chubb and Hunt in the same backfield at all?
Almost never.
Yeah, and that's a bone that that sticks in my craw. What better way to put the defense on its heels when you got Baker on one side and Hunt on the other, and they have no idea which way you're going.
Yeah, Dan, you can do misdirection and just really get the defense confused.
I don't know what Stefanski is the new coach. Mike and I, sort of disagreed with him being the play caller. We wanted an offensive coordinator that was geared just to calling the plays, so that Stefanski could be the coach, the 2-minute drill, the penalties, everything, the defense. But no, he's got to assume the play calling. And, a lot of it is, I'd say I agree 80% of the time, but the 20%, especially down in the red zone, we get down on the 5-yard line, and I have absolutely no idea what they're going to do. They could run the ball. They could play action. They've done stuff where they've handed off and had Jarvis Landry throw into the end zone.
Yeah.
It
doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, it just drives me up a wall. Put them at the 15 and they're pretty good. Put them at the 5, I don't know. And maybe it's the play calling. They don't have confidence in getting that 5 yards one way or the other. We've been lucky the last couple of weeks where we have, even though we blew it on 1st and 2nd down, we were able to get in on the 3rd down. So hopefully the play calling is good, the game plan is good, and we do the things that don't shoot us in the foot, and that we keep it competitive all the way through to the end.
Well, Mike and Dan, if it comes down to a tight game, keep in mind the Titans are having major issues with their kicking game.
Oh, really?
Brought in Steven Gostkowski, who is the old kicker for the Patriots, who is an all-star kicker with the Patriots. Mm-hmm. With the Titans, he's just 16 of 24 this year. He's also missed a couple extra points. Just having a heck of a time with him. Our punting situation, thank God, Brett Kern is back, because they had brought in a guy that was working for FedEx for a game. He kicked a 5-yard punt and had another one blocked. So thank God Brett Kern is back. He averages 47 yards a kick. 15 out of his 24 punts on the year have been inside the 20-yard line. He does a nice job. So good to have him back, but keep in mind, Gostkowski is not by any means a lock like he used to be in the Patriot days.
Right.
Yeah, and
Right.
that's one thing that our kicker, we had a bad situation with Austin Siebert earlier in this year, and they brought in Cody Parkey just to put on the practice squad and then after that first game when he missed the extra point in the Ravens game, and then I think missed a field goal in there as well. It was,
Right.
I mean, they almost like didn't even put him on the plane. They just left him in Baltimore. And
He was the old Dolphin kicker, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
And decent. I think he had some accuracy issues, but he's been pretty much lights out for the Browns. Yeah. I mean, I don't think he's Hall of Fame or anything like that, but I mean, that's the thing about the NFL. I mean, so many games. This is when we went through that 0-16, 1-15 stretch with Hugh Jackson. How many games do we lose to a blocked field goal at the end? Or
one of them was against the Dolphins. I remember that. I think he missed a field goal at the end of the game.
Yeah, the Steelers. I mean, we just had so many that were so close. It just it really a lot of times comes down to special teams execution, which I'm thrilled with our punter. Our punter's fantastic. Right. And Parkey's been fine, making extra points, making his field goals. I mean, a lot of even those, in the NFL, you got those 47-yard field goals. Right around that kind of spot where that separates the good teams from the bad. And it ultimately comes down a lot of times to the little things. And for some reason this year, Browns fans, we are in a situation where the little things are working for us. Again, guys, I want to preface this. The Titans, this is not a must-win game. We are through the must-win. The next must-win game comes up against the Giants and the Jets. We got to get through those. So we're playing with the house's money right now. If we get a win against the Titans, and then or the Steelers or the Ravens, we could potentially be looking at an 11-win season for the first time since 1994. I know a lot of the Browns fans are going the 13-3. But hey, it's great to think like that, but in reality, I just wanted to see us do well today, not be embarrassed, stick it to them a little bit. That'd be great, just to give it back to them in Tennessee, a stadium I haven't been to. I've been in Nashville quite a few times for work, and I've driven past the stadium. I've never been. Mike, have you been to that stadium?
I've been to the stadium. I did a tour inside of it. I have not been to a game. I just haven't been there during football season.
All right. Maybe we'll have to get once this whole pandemic thing shakes out. Maybe we could take a trip one day.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Mike, are there any fans going to be there today? I think Tennessee allows fans.
Yeah, they do, but it's very sporadic. Yeah, it's probably just a few thousand fans. The number's been pretty low so far. But again, there's really not a home field advantage this year. Although I guess the numbers say otherwise. Seattle, I think, is still undefeated at home. In spite of not having a 12th man, and I guess just because you get to sleep in your own bed and go to your do your normal routine, there's a plus to that. But not having the fans in the crowd, to me, it dissipates a lot of that home field advantage. So I think the Titans are a 3-point favorite, Dan, and we got a golf game on this bet, right?
Absolutely. I think you're 5.5 points, something like that.
Well, you don't want the points though, Dan.
No, I want the win. I don't want any points. You can keep your 3.5 points. I don't want those.
I think honestly, like Mike, what you were mentioning about this, the traveling and the home field advantage. I think it's also because it's so different traveling this year. With all the COVID restrictions and how they have to take, multiple buses and all the different stuff and all the meetings that they're doing now over Zoom. It's like, it's such a weird time. So it throws off their rhythm a little bit when you go on the road, but it's not like they're traveling to, London or anything like that. They're traveling to Tennessee.
This COVID thing is not over. It can still play a major role in the games that are coming up in the playoffs and potentially even the Super Bowl. I mean, Lamar Jackson.
Look at Baltimore last week, Dan.
Yeah, they got decimated, and I don't know if Lamar Jackson has been cleared today, but he may not play, and they're going to have to go with RG3 went out last week, so he's done. They're going to have to go with McSorley from Penn State as their starting quarterback if they don't get Jackson off the COVID list. And I think he's close. So I don't know if anybody in chat has seen whether he is playing or not. Mike just put a post up there, but not having him is going to be big.
Yeah, I thought that the announcement was coming out at noon today, whether or not he was going to get cleared.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and that's gonna make or break a lot of things. RG3 goes down, and it's funny because there's a guy who a really popular YouTuber and a really nice guy who I've talked with a little bit. He hops in here every once in a while, Engraven Vids. So anybody who's especially if we're not playing or if they got a late game or something like that, it's always interesting to hop over to his post game streams because he's got all Ravens fans. Like right now, we got 115, probably all Browns fans. They have Ravens fans over there, and listening to the doom and gloom from their fan base. I'm hearing things like, we need to get a real quarterback now. Is this experiment finally over? We're talking about the MVP of the league 1 year ago, and they're ready to bail. Harbaugh, they're talking about getting rid of him. I mean, I talk about a spoiled fan base of, they're 6-5. It's not like they're, the Jags 1-10. They're still have a very good chance. If we, in years past as a Browns fan, if we would be 6-5 right now, we'd be ecstatic. We're playing relevant football in December. Now, we happen to play really relevant football in December, which is, again, is a little bit different for us as Browns fans. You guys as Tennessee, you guys go 9-7 every damn year. But this year, finally,
like every year we're right around that 9-7 mark. That's right.
Yeah, but Mike Vrabel, who I was critical of that hire because I didn't think he was quite ready, it looks like he's finally been able to take Tennessee to the next level, which I'm really happy. I think he's a nice guy. I think he said there was a news report that he grew up a Browns fan, and he hated Bill Belichick because he cut his childhood hero Bernie Kosar. So me and my dad and Mike Vrabel are he's okay in our book. Right.
That's right.
But
anybody who hates Belichick is okay in our book.
As Quincy Carrier says, Quincy Carrier is another guy that I'm a giant fan of, is another YouTuber. Mike Vrabel's okay in our book, but we got beef with the Titans because of what they did to us in Cleveland last year. This is a redemption type game, and also I think it's a fair game to look apples to apples to see where we have come in a whole year and a half. With Freddie Kitchens based team versus Kevin Stefanski, and if it's as bad as it was last year to start the season, it's not looking good for the Browns. But I think the good thing is, and I was kind of alluding to it a little bit earlier, missing Denzel Ward is going to hurt, but missing Myles Garrett is devastating for us. So when we lost him last
year, when we beat Pittsburgh at a big win for us midway through the season, and he takes his helmet off and he clocks, Rudolph on the head with it. He gets suspended for the whole year, and it was like, we were going to a funeral after that win. It was horrible. So he is a guy to miss, and now that he's back, I don't know how. He had COVID, so I heard of one story that it sort of knocked him for a loop. So he's had a couple of weeks to get back. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't play, every snap, because his physical conditioning is not going to be quite the same. He goes 1,000 miles an hour, and then he's huffing and puffing and puffing. So they got to get him in and out. They got to come up with the right combination, and he's got to get some help from the other side. Vernon's got to step up, and Richardson got to step up. So, I mean, if these guys do that and our linebackers play halfway decent, we should stay in the game.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the key. If we can get to Tannehill, which we proved we didn't have any pass rush. We did against the Eagles. Like, surprisingly, Olivier Vernon came alive in that. He became the Olivier Vernon that we thought we were getting when we brought him in. Right. And then we're like, that's the guy that we wanted opposite of Myles Garrett. That's the level of production that we expected from Vernon. And then nothing last week, other than right at the end of the game where he got to the quarterback and to Glennon, and then got flagged on one of the worst calls I've seen all season. So he did get to him, but I think that was a BS call. And so I can almost give him that, but then it even hurt us. So if Vernon can step up and be the Vernon against the Eagles, with then Myles Garrett just being average. Hopefully Myles. I was talking to Lindsay when we were walking the dog this morning, and she was asking, well, the COVID is like the flu, is Myles even going to be 100%?
Right.
You know,
Right.
and I told her, I'm like, look, if you're Myles Garrett, who's probably the most important guy, arguably on the Browns, they had him probably on constant IVs and whatever type of super drugs that we happen to have right now to make sure that he's back. I don't expect him to lose 30 pounds of weight or anything or not be in playing shape. I think Myles Garrett should be good to go, and they'll probably be juicing him up with all kinds of liquids today as well. But
Mike, the key for you though, in getting to Tannehill, you've got to stop Henry, because last year Henry had 2 touchdowns, I think 160 yards or so against the Browns. So if he has that kind of game again today, it's going to make Tannehill effective. The Titans do a lot of play action passing, and with the guys that they have on the outside, they could have very good days too if you can't contain Henry. So everybody knows that he's the key to the Titan offense, but Browns got to do a better job against him today than they did last year.
Yeah, and I think if I'm Joe Woods, the Browns defensive coordinator, I'm going in and I'm talking to my team and I'm saying, look, we're going to make Ryan Tannehill beat us. If we lose to the Titans and we contain Derrick Henry and we still lose to the Titans, then you know what? Good. You guys won the game. But if we can't contain, and that's been one of our challenges, the linebacker position has been somewhat soft for us this year, albeit we've had some flashes of excellence. Takitaki had a good game a couple games ago. So we've had some decent play, but it's been a lot of missed tackles and a lot of missed opportunities, a lot of like flopped balls that get thrown up in the air and us not converting them into interceptions, that kind of thing. But I think the biggest thing for us is our linebackers being out of position when runs occur. We have to be able to contain. We're not going to face a better running back than Derrick Henry.
That's for sure.
We're not gonna this year. This is gonna be it. Even in the playoffs, let's say that we play Kansas City first round of the playoffs. Well, at least we're not gonna be playing against Derrick Henry, right? So we have to beat him. We beat him, then it's gonna be close. Just like the Titans. This is what I expect. So, Mike, obviously my dad and I, we watch every Browns game. If I was giving any advice to the Tennessee Titans on how to beat the Browns, if you're probably going to be focused on Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt to start off the game, and in the first half you may even contain them. The key to winning against the Browns is being able to tackle and stop the run in the second half. Because these guys because you have 2 of them, we have the ability to swap them in and out interchangeably throughout the third and fourth quarter, which we've been able to control the clock.
We got a good, solid offensive line. So
I mean, there's some truth to that, Mike. But keep in mind, I told you the story of how I became an Oiler fan, which was Earl Campbell. Mm-hmm. Earl Campbell was dominant not because of what he did to you in the first half; it's what he did to you in the third and fourth quarter when he wore you down.
Yeah,
Derrick Henry is very much the same kind of guy. He's had 256 carries on the year, 1,257 yards, rushing, 12 touchdowns. He's going to wear you down too. So it's going to come down to, on both sides of the ball, how the teams do defensively in the second half.
Right.
Titans are not a good tackling team. So they're going to struggle to tackle Chubbs and I've just lost Hunt's, coming out of the backfield. So
Chubb is great at yards after the first hit. He really accelerates not only with the cutbacks to give him some space, but then when one guy tries to take him down, he rarely goes down with one hit. He bowls over people. He is very strong, and he's really a very quiet person. They can't get him to talk in the huddle. They can't get him to talk on the bench. He says very little. Hunt is just the opposite. He's all, glamour and do this and do that. So the linemen are even playing games trying to get Chubb to say something, trying to get him move one way or the other. But he is focused. You give him the ball, chances are he's going to make some yardage, and he's going to fall forward. He's not going to go down easily, going to fall forward. So it's going to be a matchup of the running backs today. And I'm looking at the guys in the chat. They must think this is a big game too, because we have over 210 people in chat right now listening to us. We usually don't get that on the pregame. We get it on the postgame.
The postgame show.
But
This actually might be a record pregame
yeah,
audience.
I think so. I guess it's because of the guest we have on that.
Completely. Mike brought his entire community of Titans fans. I see the Titans fans in the chat. Tightening up, I guess, is what they're saying.
Tighten up. That's right. That's what I'm saying is tighten up.
I don't know what they're doing, but I mean, hey, I love it. This is going to be two really, really good teams. I just hope the Browns can be the Browns that beat the Cowboys, the Browns that had won the last couple of games. If we can be that team and close it out, I think we can be okay. If we're the Browns that, got completely embarrassed against the Ravens and Steelers, it could be an ugly game. Again,
Those games are behind us. Games are behind us.
I'm not saying we're going to lose. I'm not saying that, but I am at least I'm holding down my expectations a little bit. I'm not going to be yelling at my wife says, "What's the thought for tomorrow? Are you winning or losing?" And I'm like, "Look, I don't know. I'm not going to be yelling at the TV as much. I almost lost my voice last game screaming at the TV. So I got to take down my dad when I actually watch games with my dad. He's calm down. Relax.
Well, Mike, when you're playing the Jaguars, you expected to win, and like you said, they came out flat, and then they were in a game, and you don't want to be in a game against a team that you should beat. But today, I think both teams will be very motivated, and it should be an excellent game. So I look forward to it.
Should we come down to giveaway, Mike, or should we just ask for the scores at this point? What do you want to do?
Yeah, let's do a giveaway.
Give Mike a chance for the giveaway.
All right, let's do this. So since we got a bunch of Titans fans in here, let's do homage, because homage has a lot of like neutral stuff. I mean, you can get football stuff. It's a lot of Ohio based, but either way, there's some other cool stuff, NBA Jam shirts and blah blah blah. All right, so John Kearney says, "Can I get a shout out?" John K from Altoona, PA. What's going on, John? Me and my dad are from or I'm originally from Pennsylvania. My dad's more from New Jersey, but I grew up in Pennsylvania. So shout out to Altoona, home of Penn State Altoona, where quite a few of my friends from high school went. All right, so let's do this. We're gonna do, for anybody who's new to the channel, what we do in chat is I'm gonna say a number from 1 to 100, which you're gonna then type in your number. Whoever gets closest to that number that I type in will win. So I'm going to say 1 to 100. Everybody in chat, type in a number from 1 to 100. You only get to type it in once. If you type it in more than one time, you're disqualified, so don't do that. So one number after I put it in there, whoever gets closest to it or hits it will win. And if there's a tie, we'll go to overtime. So 1 to 100 now for homage. We have some people who came in early. That's fine. My number is in. So I have hands off the keyboard.
You can't see it, can you, Mike? Mike Muhlenfeld. You can't see.
No, I can't. No, I actually can't.
Okay, Mike. Well, so Mike, just tell us your number. Just tell us a number from 1 to 100 right now, Mike.
I would say 7.
7. Okay, so I got your number. Fair.
Well, the 7 in there already, so it will be a tiebreaker.
Well, we're gonna let some people in. I want to make sure I can scroll back. And we got a new subscriber, Richard Wilson. Welcome, Richard.
26 people in chat now.
Let's go.
A lot of numbers to go through.
Yeah, well, we'll let it run a little bit.
So, Mike, what's the Browns' record this year against winning teams?
Ooh, we had to bring that up, right? I don't
know the answer, so I'm just curious what that is, because I know you said that they beat the Jaguars, they beat Dallas. I know you have the Giants and the Jets.
So let's take a look. So we lost to the Ravens, so it's 0-1. Colts we beat, so that's 1-1 in terms of winning record. New subscriber John Matey, what's going on? We lost to the Steelers, so 1-2. G high D duh G, new subscriber.
Chat's already saying we're 1-3.
We're 1-3. Okay, good. Thank you for not making me do math. Gabriel Williams, the new subscriber, welcome, Gabriel. This is also a good point, as people are still typing in their number, to talk about a couple things we have going on. Number one, so we're doing the St. Jude thing as well. So far I had a goal of 1,500. We ended up getting to 1,655 cents exactly. So help out with St. Jude. We had a goal to raise $10,000 as a team. We just hit it this morning, so $10,001.
Right.
But there is still an opportunity. So I'm going to put in, as we got a whole bunch of people in here, I'm going to put in my Tiltify link so anybody can, if you have it in your heart to give to St. Jude, this would be a good time to do it. I know that we're over our thing, but hey, you know what? It's still, go ahead and do it. Boom. So I'm gonna, there's the link to Tiltify if you want to donate a couple dollars, whatever. There's a special alert that pops up when you donate. So if anybody wants to donate just $1, I just want to get the special alert to come up one time on this stream. So there it is, just $1, and you get the big special alert. All right, I think everybody's numbers are in at this point. My number was 51, and I think somebody hit it.
Wow.
Somebody hit it on that nail on the head. Who was it? Sense Fails 51. All right, well, that makes sense. Sense Failed 51 hit the number on the head. So Sense wins.
It was a 52. He just missed it.
Just missed it. Well, hey,
Sense Fails 51, right?
Sense Fails 51. Please send me an email to browniepostgame@gmail.com and pick out a T-shirt from Homage. So homage.com, pick out a T-shirt, send me that T-shirt, your address and your size, and I'll get that out to you. Congratulations to Sense Fails. No super chat. We don't have monetization turned on this channel. So the only way that you can support the channel is through that Tiltify link right there, or on Patreon. You go to patreon.com/browniepostgame. Alerts will definitely pop up there. So yeah, we monetize only through Patreon, not through YouTube. So I appreciate it, guys. All right. So what we're gonna do, we have the Sabo apparel giveaway that we're gonna be doing in the post-game show. So everybody, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, click the subscribe button now. And also, if you happen to, since everybody typed in numbers, go ahead and hit the like button. The like button helps us out a ton.
Tell them about what we do, Mike, with the scores, and if anybody hits the score, exactly what we do.
Good point. Okay, so for the score, I'm gonna type it in now. Type score.
Type in your score, your prediction of the game. And I assume Mike is gonna, root for the Titans and type in a Titans. We don't give anything to Titans winners, though. But,
yes, but if anybody,
can I just verbally give you my score, because I don't have anywhere I can type this in.
Yes, okay. you can verbally. So I copy down everybody's score, and then if anybody hits the score on the head, I will send them an official Cleveland Browns jersey. So that's the jersey giveaway. We have not had anybody hit it yet. We have not had anyone hit the score yet this season, but we have a whole bunch of people in chat today, so there's probably a really good chance that somebody's going to nail it. And the Browns have to win. The Browns have to win, too. Don't give me any of this Titan stuff.
Right. There are a lot of people, Titans fans in there, predicting the Titans are going to win 34-13, 28-17.
49-17 Titans from
Jaharis.
8.
If the Titans hold them to 17 points. I don't see that.
Hey, I mean, honestly, I think if I'm going to give my prediction in the score today,
I gotta put mine in.
I'm going to say the Browns. I'm going to say the Browns win, and I think it's going to be 35-34. I'm just going to give a random number. It's going to be close, and points are going to be scored aplenty today, guys. I
think I'm going to go with 35-28.
Boy, that's close to me, Dan. I have 31-27, but I have the Titans winning.
Right.
31,
and we got
20,
golf.
27.
We got golf as our bet.
That's right.
So I'm looking forward to playing at Parkland again.
35-28 for my dad. I called 35-34. Me. Okay, so I'm just putting it in there so when I copy all these numbers down, they appear in there as well. A couple other things just to mention. So we have the Patreon down there below. So if anybody goes to patreon.com, it's scrolling right now, patreon.com/browniepostgame to become a supporter. Subscribe to the channel, hit the like button and the notification so you know when we go live. We've got a couple of the business tier Patreon guys. So William Ali Realty, if you happen to be in the Northeast Ohio area looking to buy or sell a house, hit up William Ali. He's a diehard Browns fan and a big fan of the show, big fan of the channel. Also, Schlegel Law Firm, a lifelong friend of mine, has a private practice in the Columbus, Ohio area. Wills and trust, elder law, evictions, all that kind of stuff. You can hit up Schlegel Law for any of your legal needs. Also a diehard Browns fan there, John Schlegel. Sabo Apparel is a big one. So we're going to do the Sabo Apparel, which I'm wearing the Sabo Apparel hat today. We're going to be doing that giveaway in the post-game show. So make sure that you subscribe and come back for the post-game, because we're going to do the Sabo Apparel. And then Homage as well. Homage has been a big supporter of the channel really from the very beginning, I think. And I'm wearing a Homage shirt right now, as you guys can see. I got the little H on the sleeve. The dog's got a
The other thing we do is we have a Monday victory mug that we.
Yeah, I'm becoming very close friends with the Cleveland Clothing Co. people. They gave me my own private discount link that I don't know if I'm allowed to share, so I won't. I will only share the private discount link to Cleveland Clothing Co. on the Wednesday show. So you got to come back for the Wednesday show to get that. And every Wednesday after we win, I give away a Victory Monday mug. Well, the last one that we sent, we actually had to mail it to Australia for David Evan Smith out there in Australia. So we sent that all the way, and I was talking to the Cleveland people. I think it cost me $17 to ship it for like a $12 mug.
The coffee tastes really good on Monday morning after a victory in that mug.
Absolutely. Victory Monday mug from Cleveland Clothing Co. It's like a $12 mug. It makes an awesome gift as well, so if you guys need that. And we've been winning. We've been able to drink out of it 8 times so far this year. It's been unbelievable. 8 Victory Mondays. Actually, I guess technically there was a Victory Friday when we beat the Bengals, but still, you can drink out of it.
Right.
It still qualifies, right? All right. So, guys, it's getting to be about noon. We're going to wrap up the show. Make sure, again, you subscribe to the channel so you can be back for the post-game show. All you Tennessee Titans fans, if you want to come back and rub it in if we lose. And then all the Browns fans, we can celebrate like
Absolutely.
we've been celebrating.
Mike, you're invited back, win or lose, Mike. If you want to rub it in, you're more than welcome to come back. If you want to cry in your beer, if we beat you, you're more than welcome to come back and chit chat with us and go over the game, the breaks, the key plays, the things that really turned out to be
Welcome,
the game
Corey.
changers in the game.
Yep, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay.
Welcome, Adrian, and welcome, Corey. Some new subscribers to the channel. Appreciate that. So I was able to get our alert box going. So I appreciate all of those guys. You guys get your name to flash up there whenever you subscribe. I think that's pretty awesome. Other than that, guys, I think we did it. Mike Muhlenfeld. Mike, can you tell everybody where to find your Yankees blog for any Yankees fans out there?
Yeah, I appreciate that, Mike. Yeah, it's nysportssouth.com. And basically just write about the Yankees, any recent developments, future possible trades that might enhance the teams, just anything relevant to the Yankees. It's really geared all Yankees. So
You used to
out there,
work for them, right, Mike?
I interned with the Yankees for 2 springs while I was in college, when they still were down here in the Fort Lauderdale area. And my major was in sports management, and then I went to Rice University and worked there for a while before I realized I couldn't make any money in the athletic world. So decided to go another direction, but still love sports today. So yeah, I've been a Yankee fan the whole life, and that team that I was interning with was when Billy Martin, right before he died. So got to see those, that going on. But yeah, nysportssouth.com is the website. Thanks for the plug.
Great, and I just posted it in the chat, guys. If you guys want to check that out and bookmark that thing, if you happen to be a Yankee fan. And Mike, by the way, that Yankees poster that you have signed behind you, give us the rundown on that. What team is that? Who do you got on there?
So this one is from when I was with the team back in spring training back in 1986.
Okay.
Billy Martin's one of the big signatures on there. I also have Dave Winfield on there, Willie Randolph.
Ricky Henderson?
Ricky Henderson's on there. It's amazing to think about Tommy John. They had quite a few good players. I think even Dave Borghetti was on the team, but they weren't very good then. This was during the lean years of the Yankees in the 80s. They weren't a great team, but it was still neat, growing up a Yankee fan to actually be in the dugout. And, I remember in the spring training games, because I was there, I would even feed him batting practice and stuff. And when they would lose a spring training game, George Steinbrenner would come rushing down into the locker room, and you would see guys that have been employees of them for 30, 40 years, and they would scatter because they didn't want to be seen by him, because Steinbrenner was that competitive. He didn't even want to lose a game that didn't matter.
Wow.
But it's crazy to see, just how intense he was on games that were just practice games.
He was one of those. He's like a Jerry Jones type guy. He meddled with the team, but you could tell it was passion that drove that.
He turned that team around when he took them over.
In the 70s.
In the 70s, they were horrible and had been horrible for a while.
Yep.
And he put money into them. He made big trades. He brought in people. He had great managers, and so. But you're right. He was very passionate, and they probably still miss him today. But he
did a lot of good things behind the scene too, Dan, that he didn't get PR for because he just didn't publicize it. There were situations where some umpires were going through major life developments, cancer, and I would find out that Steinbrenner had funded his entire surgeries, paid for his family to be taken care of. He just did a lot of great things for the community that he didn't get any good pub because he was known as the boss, the guy that had to win at all costs, but he had a soft side to him too.
It was interesting. Today is actually Otto Graham's birthday. He was born 99 years ago today. And when I was doing a little bit of research on Otto, he was actually really good personal friends with Steinbrenner.
Really?
Yeah. And
Steinbrenner made all of his money in the shipping business. Didn't it start in Cleveland? I thought he started in Cleveland.
Yeah. He was a big shipbuilder. Yep.
Yeah, so him and Otto Graham, and it might have been back from when he was on the Browns, as the automatic Otto, taking us to the championships and all that kind of stuff. But he was the one who pushed Otto Graham to be I think it was the head coach of the Coast Guard Academy, and then the Redskins picked him up as a head coach for a couple years in the '60s, and a lot of that was from Steinbrenner really pushing him. Otto Graham, admittedly, was much better as a player than he was a coach. It happens quite a bit, but still a legendary guy. All-time winning percentage of quarterbacks. I saw somebody posted that a stat when I tweeted it out this morning. Above Tom Brady, above guys like Roethlisberger, and also Frank Ryan, another Browns guy, was 10th.
Yeah.
So we have two quarterbacks, and as surprising as that, if you would say, give me the top 10 best winning percentage quarterbacks of all time, if you would have said that the Browns would have two in there, I wouldn't have believed you. Right?
I would have gone with Brian Sipe.
Yeah, right. He had a good career.
He did. Career. I think Sipe was closer to 500. I think just because there were a couple ugly years in those as well, but yeah, guys. So great show again, Mike. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
nysportssouth.com to check out his blog. He is a big Titans fan. We don't typically have fans from the other team on, but I'm really glad you joined us this morning, giving us a lot of insights about the Titans that I didn't know. Going to be excited about that, and then go easy on my dad on the golf course.
Thanks so much for having me. You guys have a great day, and tighten up.
Michael. Take care. Good luck with your Titans. Go Brownie.
All right, go Browns, guys. We'll see you in the post-game show, and I've got all your scores. Anybody hits it, you win a jersey. We'll see you then. Go Browns.